along. Welcome to, is that light a little? I'm checking things out here. I don't know if that's just on my phone or if you're seeing that as well. Let's do that. Is that enough light? It's bad lighting setup. I've gotta get this room back to doing this every day. Welcome to the first of what I think is going to be daily. I'm going to do a brief wrap after the show each day, where it's a very relaxed, whether I'm having coffee or having just a glass of water, and just thumbing through a few things, as well as your emails. I love getting your emails. You can email me anytime, greg.belfrage@kelo.com. It's my email address. But we're going to do this every day. I will continue to do the live show each day at 6 a.m. I ran into problems this morning. Today was one of those days. We're having, you show up at work and not only is it Monday, we're just having massive problems at work this morning with the water that everybody has been fighting, the flooding that has been ongoing. Our studios have been affected. Now, our upstairs is fine. You would never tell it as you drive by KELO radio, but we've got, it's a two-story building. So down below, we've got a basement level, and the basement is fairly deep, and we had water coming in. So the way our downstairs is set up, it's kind of, I've got an interior office, so everything is dry in here. But our production rooms and the south wall of our building, water came down, and they had to pull out all of the desks along that south wall. They had to pull all of that computers, equipment, all pulled out of there. Fans have been going. They were doing this yesterday. So many folks are fighting these floodwaters right now, and it's no different here at Kelo Radio. Fortunately, at my home address, I'm not having these issues, but I know a lot of people are. And so that was a big story, and everything was just a disaster then when I walked in this morning. And as I prepared I sit in my office here at my computer terminal is right here on my right, and I prepared the show, print it off, and so on. After 90 minutes of that, that damp, moldy kind of smell, and it gets in the air, fans have been going. And again, kudos to the Midwest radio staff that were combating that yesterday. I got an email from my boss last night at 6 p.m. that he and a couple of others had spent the day down here trying to clean things up. So yeah, that going on. But after 90 minutes of sitting in that kind of, they got fans going, everything. But you sit in that damp, kind of moldy, man, I was ready to get upstairs. I mean, I ran upstairs. I was like, wow, can take a breath of fresh air as a result. So my heart goes out to everybody who's dealing with that, whether it's at their home, whether it's at their business. Just a lot of that. More rain expected later today. But we talked about that at length on the air this morning. So, but that's how my day started. And then I got upstairs and I was going to start the live stream. And then I'm having problems with YouTube and my phone. And I don't know what the reason is why my phone just does not want to start each morning with that. I start plenty of time, and then I hit next, and it sits there. And I will hit it 10 times, and my phone just sits there. And it's like frustrating. So then I get to a point where I just have to set the phone aside, and boom. So that happened again this morning. I've got to do some additional homework and see what I can do to make sure that each day my phone is going to be, I restart my phone each morning. I do that well in advance of the show, restart my phone, don't start a bunch of other apps and whatnot just to make sure that my phone is not causing the problems. I don't know where it's coming from. Honestly, just been frustrating. So, Governor Kristi Noem was on Meet the Press yesterday. She's out as Donald Trump's vice presidential pick. I don't think that's going to come as a big surprise to anybody. Certainly did not to me, that she is out as Donald Trump's, and now she knows because she didn't get the vetting paperwork that the other candidates have received. So they send out vetting paperwork. Governor Kristi Noem didn't receive any. And again, I don't think that's going to be a big surprise to you. But she talked about that yesterday on Meet the Press. She also offered a little bit of advice strategy to Donald Trump for this Thursday's debate. And again, I'm interested, are you going to be watching the debate? We talked about this last week. I'm very, very interested to see it. And I told Katie, I said, okay, it's you and me, baby. We got a debate. We got a date for the debate coming up Thursday night. Want to watch this for myself as it happens. So the governor said she doesn't think Trump needs to get personal with Joe Biden in order to win the debate. And she was talking about the economy and what's going on. And she said, that's what I really think President Trump is planning to focus on, the economy. And I hope so. I hope we see a very reserved, intelligent, bright Donald Trump during this debate on Thursday. I hope he's very focused, like a laser, on the issue of the economy and the border, these other issues that we talk about on the Greg Belfrage show all of the time. And the Biden administration just seems to, heap one lie after another. Speaking of, hold on a sec. The Snopes came out with a story, the lie, and that's what it is, the lie that Donald Trump was referring to neo-Nazis as very fine people. How many people have you heard repeat that? It's untrue. And even far-left Snopes.com is pointing out, yeah, Donald Trump never said that. He never said that neo-Nazis were very fine people. He did say very fine people, but he was referring to people who were protesting both in his favor and against him. He was saying of the protesters, they were very fine people on both sides, he said. But then Trump went on to say that the neo-Nazis, the white nationalists, no, they're despicable, Trump said. They should be condemned totally, in his words. So that's what Trump said. So he wasn't saying neo-Nazis were very fine people. The media did to Donald Trump what the media always does to Donald Trump. They give you part of the sentence. They cherry pick a part of the sentence that they want to use, and the rest of it they deny. So Donald Trump talking about folks who were protesting and counter-protesters, very fine people on both sides in that group. But the rest of that sentence was, he went on to condemn the neo-Nazis and the white supremacists and so on. That part of the quote never gets shared, never gets reported. The media does this all of the time to Donald Trump. That is just, so now even far left Snopes is like, yeah, they're not even carrying the water on that lie anymore. Pretty incredible. Also, Donald Trump during, this was on Saturday, and he was talking at the Faith and Freedom Coalition's Road to Majority And he talked about abolishing the federal Department of Education and transferring all of their control to the states. Trump has talked about this before, and I hope this is something that he's really serious about. I hope we see him do this, at least I hope. So Trump said, I will shut down the federal Department of Education, and we will move everything back to the states where it belongs and where they can individualize education and do it with the love for their children, he said. So he has talked about this before. He was on Fox and Friends recently, said his administration would cut the Department of Education to have it run locally. And I'd appreciate your thoughts about that. Cutting the Department of Education in order to have it run locally. That's something I very much appreciate and value, because I think government is best when it's closest to the people. You know, we never even had a National Department of Education until Jimmy Carter became president. So the idea that Trump wants to return that power to the states, I think is just a gangbusters of an idea if he follows through with it. I hope he'll follow through with it. You may have seen the video over the weekend of Donald Trump and this young supporter who was dressed like Trump, had a Trump wig on, and Donald Trump signed a $20 bill for him and presents it to him, and the two are taking photos. And the kid was so moved by this, he was just overjoyed to meet Trump that he had tears of happiness, I mean, just flowing down his face. Can you imagine that? Getting it, you dress, this young guy dressed like Trump, meets Trump, Trump signs a $20 bill for him, they take photos together, and then Trump says, I like that kid. So if your parents don't want you, I'll take you. Trump says, and the crowd, of course, cheered. Not a big surprise, but a great moment for Donald Trump. And again, you're not going to see the legacy state media covering that story. It was a great moment. And I just look at that and I go, could we see that moment with Joe Biden? Do you think Joe Biden is capable of having that kind of a moment with any supporter? I mean, seriously, especially a younger supporter who wants to be like Joe Biden. How many of those, could you count those on one hand across the country? I don't think you could. I don't think we even have enough of those. In fact, Kurt sent me an email, talked about this on the show. Kurt said, Biden sniffing a little girl's hair is a joke. Does that count? About the yeah, pretty crazy times that we live in. There was another question. Hold on. Donald Trump said he knows who his vice presidential pick's going to be. So Trump made that statement Saturday at the same campaign stop. So he's not telling who it is. Some people are saying he should announce it during the debate. The debate's coming up this Thursday night. Should Donald Trump announce who his running mate will be at the debate? What do you think about that idea? I'd love to get your thoughts. Please leave a comment below. And then I saw this morning, there was a story I printed out at the Washington Examiner, and among, you get the other headlines and for other stories at the Washington Examiner. And it says, how likely do you think it is that the Democratic Party will replace President Joe Biden following this Thursday's debate? And I thought, now that's an intriguing question. That's a very intriguing question. Will the Democrats replace Joe Biden following this debate? So there was one other story I wanted to share this morning. Do you see these climate protesters? This time it was at a PGA Tour event. Yeah, the climate protesters are out there, and a lot of video that's being shared of this. So there were 6 of them. They ran onto the 18th green, and excuse me, I have noticed this is a problem for me since I had my stroke. I don't articulate the last letter of a word. So it's like the word is green, and you'll hear me say green. That never happened to me prior to the stroke. Not that I caught. I don't know if that old age or, is that old age or is that the stroke? I don't know. It's been now coming up on 3 years since I had the stroke. I'm in pretty good shape overall. I mean, considering the stroke, given what some people go through, I'm in pretty great shape. At least that's what my doctors tell me, and I'm holding them to their word. But I notice I do that. I apologize. And I hear it. When I hear it, I stop and you'll hear me correct myself. But so on the 18th green, you had protesters and 6 climate protesters who ran onto the 18th green spraying powder. One of them was wearing a white t-shirt with the words, "No golf on a dead planet." And I just thought, it's not the planet that's dead, it's your brain. It's your brain. It's your brains that are dead that we wind up seeing. So thanks so much for letting me join you this morning. I'm going to start doing a post-show wrap, about a 15-minute wrap-up after the show every day. It'll be a little lighter. And I think for those who sleep in, which some of you do, and I appreciate, some who are retired say, I can't join you for this 6 a.m. Live stream. 9:30, they're certainly up by then. So I'm hoping that more of you can watch this at 9:30. I will continue doing the 6 a.m. live stream. Again, I ran into issues this morning. YouTube has just been really difficult for some reason. I wind up having problems with YouTube. So I'm going to see what I can do to try to alleviate some of those troubles. But I really appreciate you being along with me. You can send me an email anytime. My email is always open to you. greg.belfrage@kelo.com. So we'll leave it there for now. We'll be back at it again tomorrow. So long until then, my friend, and may God bless. And now you get my finger.